All right, welcome back. This is MDawg, and we are continuing our leveling guide. Let me see here. I want to say this is episode 7, but I want to make sure that might not be right. This might be 6 actually. Sorry. I can't tell. No, this is 7. I was right. This is 7. Okay, so just as a information, I mean, at this point, we're 7 episodes in, so it doesn't matter as much. But I do record these well in advance before they come out on YouTube. There is a way for a monthly fee to join a membership to my YouTube channel. No pressure to do this. And at this point, like all the content I create does become available to everyone. But one way that I did figure I could make it, some sort of benefit to people who decide to support the YouTube channel with that membership is you have access to the things that I create immediately upon creation, where everyone else gets it at a scheduled time, sort of every couple days. I try to have something new coming out. So anyway, if that interested you at all, for what it's worth, just wanted to let you know about that. Again, not trying to hide stuff behind a paywall, but do want to find a way to reward the people that do decide to support the channel and help me continue to justify, I guess, the amount of time that I spend working on content. So we're still have lots of challenges to do, free-to-play challenges. Obviously, we've still got a long ways to go. But I do think that a couple of things. Since we are level 13, I actually think I want to go to Mosquito. There is some really nice crucian gibel fishing happening right now. In fact, earlier today I did a stream on my main account, and we had several trophies in one night. Now, I mean, obviously that's like with the ideal setup and baits and all that. So that may not be the case here, but I do want to go enjoy. We're going to use semolina on one line at least, because that's one of the things I was catching trophies on. So I thought we could go try to catch some really nice crucian gibels, if nothing else. Also, this allows me to really focus on trying to level some of the things like digging for baits and everything. We also potentially make a little bit more silver this way. So we're going to come over here to 55.94, by the way. We're going to do clip 6 or 7 kind of thing, and really casting just right here in front of us. By the way, I want to change this to paternoster. So hopefully on the first fish I catch, I'll remember to change it to paternoster. Okay. I think 4, to me 4 might be a little too big. We'll try it. And we'll put worm on this one since it is pretty big. And then maybe bread on the third one. So we're still using our free baits for the most part, but we do have semolina on the first one. All right, so we're going to do paternoster on all 3 because we are... And on this one, we'll do the 16 bread. Might as well make some silver off of free bait, right? It is just straight into the positive, into the black. Okay, so let's craft some bread, and then we can just keep baking more bread, then maybe switch to potatoes if we stop getting percent points. We're going to really focus in. Oh, here's the other thing, by the way. The other reason why I decided, at least for this one episode, to take a little break from focusing as hard on the Hey, Chinese sleeper. Focusing as hard on the tasks is because I was thinking about, we actually are high enough level to go to both Old Berg and Belaya. So if you go to the maps, we are now past level 12, so we could go to either one of these two maps. In fact, it's not going to be too long till we're thinking about Corey, but for now we've got Belaya and Old Berg. So Old Berg at this level, great place for us to catch bream. But Belaya, great place to spin fish and potentially do pretty well on silver and XP. Now, some people will tell you that all you need is this starting setup. It's got a test that allows for casting the right lures. Load capacity is 3.9. And they are correct. Like, we technically could use this. I enjoy getting a little bit nicer setup for Belaya. And it just gives you a second spinning option. Like if you did want to do something weird like trolling at Mosquito or something like that, you have another option. I really want to turn that first rod to Paternoster. That's a nice gibble. So if we don't catch something on it pretty quick here, I'm going to go ahead and just pull it out and do it. So one thing we can do is we can pop over there to the store and start pricing out a good spinning setup, because if it's not too expensive, I actually might get the spinning setup before getting our starter feeder kits. Deciding which one to do in those two in that order is determines, do you want to focus more on Old Berg first and bream? If that's the case, you'd want to go starter feeder kits. Or do you want to focus on Belaya first and spin fishing? And if that's the case, obviously. So technically we could fish for bream on these setups. Now big bream is going to be just really painful and it's going to be hard to get in. But technically speaking, we could do that. So I'm kind of thinking about maybe getting the Belaya spin fishing set, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I don't want to get too far away from continuing to work on the challenges. I mean, these challenges on this account will be over in 25 days, and that'll happen before we know it. But I also just recognize that without some resources and leveling up some of our bait harvesting and that kind of thing, what is already a really difficult challenge, set of challenges, is even more so, is even more difficult. Are we going to 20% or 25 to make pearl barley? 20. Ooh. We're going to be there before we know it, guys. That's actually really cool. Okay, let's go look just for a second. So I think the key with thinking about equipment for spin fishing at Belaya, if you want to have something a little bit nicer, I wanted to make sure this spinning thing isn't a worthy option. Oh, it's way too expensive. If you want to have something a little nicer than the starter setup, which the starter setup might be what we end up using, but I remember maybe it was last one or 2 times ago, I got a little bit nicer setup and it was just a lot of fun. All right, so spinning light start, I guess this would be one option. So it's got the right test range. It goes up to 5 kilo. But this reel isn't that good. So that's 149 silver. That's not bad. Let's see how much this rod cost by itself. Express Fishing Arrow S60. It's 162. Arrow S60L. Wait, is that right? I just clicked on Pro, which is way more expensive. Okay, so it's actually cheaper to get it in this kit. So then what would we go with? So, I mean, this is just a free reel. We can use this as a spinning reel on one of our feeders. I mean, we don't have to worry about using it for that. So what would we get? We want to get right up to that 5 kilo. Okay, first of all, are there any, so let's look at that rod again. It can be up to a 2,000 reel. So we do have to keep that in mind. It can only be up to a 2,000 reel, which means it's going to get expensive to get all right, we're switching it. I don't know how much Paternoster will help us here, but I know that that has a chance of catching some really nice crucian gibble, so I don't want to be limited, so let's at least switch it just in case. All right, so 2,000 reel. Again, let's check the fair, make sure there's nothing here that matters. I mean, the cheapest one is this, and this is certainly not it. Okay, so if we were going to use that, and we were going to go 2,000 reel to get a little more, that's 3.5. 3.6. Yeah, we're not getting good return for investment. We're getting into way too expensive. So maybe using the reel that comes with that setup would be the way to go if we want to just do it that way. I mean, arguably it's not that much better than just using the starter, the one that we already have, which I can already hear people saying like, yeah, why don't you just use the starter? You're not getting that much more power or improvement. So let's look. One thing we could consider is instead of going light, we go medium. Now test starts at 6. How much do those Hornets weigh? Or like the things that we're likely to use? Where are they? The Spiker. So the Hornet one weighs 363. And where's the Spiker? Who makes Spiker? Zyman? Is it Spiker number 2? Yeah. It weighs 353. So we want something that's less than 353 to really be able to cast these where we want to cast them at Belaya. So that means this one starts at 3. So light does work. Medium does not work. What about, where's the first medium light? I know medium light does exist. Here's medium, by the way. Okay, it's a little too much. And it's getting expensive. We're already getting pretty expensive. Yeah, that's interesting. 7 kilo for medium heavy. 5. I mean, so you could use this. You could cast it. It's just like, it's a little too high of a, but it's close. All right, here's medium light. So medium light would be the best because it starts at 3, but it's got even more strength. It allows for 3,000 reel instead of 2,000 reel. So that would let us get, what's the cheapest 3,000 that's actually going to be a significant upgrade in. All right, so that would let us use the Lagoon 3000. So, you know, if price wasn't an issue, going medium light, do y'all think there's a fish on the semolina, or is it just sitting there weird? just sitting there a little weird. Sorry, I've just been blabbing on and on. According to how new you are to the game, some of this may not make full sense. And I'm not the best to explain it, but basically, at Belaya, the lures that work the best are what we call ultralight spinner baits. But it's really important that you be able to cast these particular, so like the Spiker 2 18 is notoriously one of the really good ones. Lately, some of these other ones have been working really well, as evidenced by the fact that they're sold out. But they only weigh 3.53 grams. So if you get a spinning rod that, you know, like technically this would be a great spinning rod. It's cheap, it's got lots of strength, but the test starts at 10 grams. So you're not going to be able to throw that little spinner bait very far, and so you won't be able to get to some of the little spots that you're going to catch the best fish in potentially. What have we got here, folks? Is this a common carp? Yeah, this is a common carp, unfortunately. That was weird. I was like, man, what have we caught? Looks like we've got either a fish on or some nibbles happening on that middle line. Nice roach. We're at 27.9. By the way, on bottom fishing, if you get to 35% and can use classic hair rig, a lot of people are absolutely destroying Crucian Gibble trophies on the classic hair rig boilies, sort of the 14 or 15 size boilies. It's pretty fun, pretty cool, but yeah, we're just not there yet. So, I don't know. Somebody have to tell me in chat or remind me. I feel like there still is there still are some like good options worth considering without waiting to medium light. But this is like, you know, this Arrow S60 is an early light that you can use. It's funny, this is the one we have. So this is what I'm saying. It works, the test works. The load capacity is 3.9. I mean, this is only 1.1 better, and you're not even going to really take advantage of it because you don't have a reel that's a 2000 reel that you can afford. I think, again, in an ideal world, and maybe what I did one time when I was like, okay, we're just going to go really expensive. I mean, first of all, one thing you could do is save up for the Light Pro. So 700 silver. You only have to be level 10 to use it. This gives you a good value on this. It's a light with 3.6. but I don't love it. I mean, I think I would more love going for a 3,000 reel that gives you 5.2 and saving up for the spinning rod that lets you go. But at that point, it's 445 plus 184. So over 600 silver, which isn't terrible. I mean, again, you've got a really fun medium light setup at that point that you can make a lot of silver on, make a lot of, earn a lot of XP at Belaya. But I mean, after looking at that, after looking at all the options, like I really understand why people talk about how, yeah, you should just use the starter one. You can cast it plenty far. You're not going to get much more power out of it anyway without spending a lot of silver. Notice how we're doing really well in this spot, even off of bread and worm. And by the way, now that it's nighttime, might be worth putting bread on this one as well. Now that it's fully like overnight. I guess we can keep the big hook on. That's a little big. I mean, 4 is kind of ridiculous for going for Crucian Gibble. On bread, at least. I mean, it would be one thing if we were using night crawlers. 16.9. Free food. So the other thing, if we're not going to spend on a nicer spin fishing setup, because to be fair, even if you did save up for that really expensive medium light setup, that's not strong enough to troll or use at Quarry very comfortably. So it doesn't do anything long term for you. It's more of a commitment to like, no, I want to just have a lot of fun fishing at Belaya on this like light setup. So the other option is to go to the kit for feeder fishing. 149 silver, and really honestly to get 3 of these. I mean, these are so good for bream fishing in my opinion. Not that there aren't other options, not that you can't suffer through it on these like basic feeder rods, but those starter kits, I like them. They're very inexpensive. You're going to make your money back so fast off of bream. It just gives you more options, a little more strength. All right, there's 28.5. Yeah, these are really nice fish coming in right now. I'm glad we did this. Not that I didn't want to do more challenges, but it's kind of nice to just focus on making some silver. Being this close to the town while we're fishing allows me to go look at stuff while we're fishing. Once it's daytime, we might go do a little bit of float fishing at Winding, just see what we can get into. Not really to work on challenges. We're just kind of taking a break from challenges this episode, but I wish flies were available. Either here or at Winding, but I think they're out of stock, at least at the basic level, so you'd have to put a lot of money into flies. It's tempting, isn't it? 300. You could make 98 silver off of flies pretty quickly. And yeah, at least at times they're just really good. I thought there were challenges involving flies too, but that might be on the premium side. Yeah, that must be on premium. Nightcrawler, maybe I'm remembering wrong. Oh, it's just insect bait. Yeah, which fly obviously counts as insect bait. We are 28.8 on bottom fishing. Oh, let's go check cafe. I don't know if there's much. I was just here during my stream earlier, which there could have been a couple of changes in orders since then, but I'm not sure if there's a whole lot available of what we're getting into. No, I doubt we're going to get any cafe orders. Where were we catching rough recently? That's always a nice order doing rough, but I don't really want to move from what we're doing, at least in the overnight here. Because we can go to, yeah, because I'm still thinking about us going to winding for a little bit of float fishing in the beginning of the day at least. Let's see. We'd probably go 22. Do we have plenty of caster? We have some caster. We might try this 87-103 spot. Yeah, we'll see. Ooh, there's some red worms. And that is why we are digging, is for red worms. Obviously it helps with our leveling, but at this point we're leveling much faster based on how much bread we're making. But we've got to keep digging. Even when digging no longer gives us points, it's worth continuing to dig because we need all those red worms. It's just less red worms we'll have to buy. All right, so there is, man, that worked out perfect. All right, there's the next level. So now we can craft pearl barley and oatmeal. Pearl barley is just pearl barley. Oatmeal is oatmeal and milk. Oatmeal is a bait that I just frankly don't think about ever and rarely have used. I mean, every once in a while maybe I've tried it in places, but so it would be interesting if we experimented with it some. But it's so good that we can now craft pearl barley. All right, let's make 1, 2, 3 of those. Which, let's make sure that we can make that with the cheap milk. Mostly what we're going to be doing right now is getting pearl barley. So we'll get, I mean, we at least want 10. I mean, we're going to want a lot more than that, but to get leveling up to 25%. It's 4 in the morning. I think we stay here just a little bit longer, get a few more crucian gibbles if possible. Actually, we're just getting gibbles here, aren't we? This is a gibble farm, not a crucian farm. The crucians are over there at the boat off the dock. There's more crucians there, but, and that is also a very good spot for catching big crucian gibbles. But on semolina and natural baits, I think this one is at least worth having in the rotation. Okay, so let's make some pearl barley. We've already fished with pearl barley, Now we can fish with pearl barley anytime we want because we can craft it. We don't have to worry about using up the little bit of pearl barley we have. So this is a huge deal. And pearl barley is a great bait for roach, for bream, and just to randomly have out there for good bite rate. Both here, mosquito, in the pond at Winding, and at Old Berg. This is a bait we'll be very thankful to have. All right, so we are now on bait harvesting up to 22.2. We need to keep making ground bait, by the way. But nice that we have gotten bait harvesting on the way. Now it's just a matter of pumping some silver into it every once in a while to level it up. I was going to dig one more time before we make the oatmeal. The higher we get in bait harvesting, the less likely it is that digging will give us a point. But like I said, it doesn't matter. We still want to dig for redworms. Like, I know bread has actually been doing really well here. It's a 1 kilo gibble. But I am curious, like, if we had used pearl barley instead of bread overnight, if that would have compared favorably. Probably would have been similar. Definitely during the day, pearl barley would be good because of roach also being on the menu. So now we've got pearl barley, semolina, and bread on. We just caught 2 of our best gibbles. Now we can dig, and then we can make some oatmeal. And it won't be long until we can make semolina. And so at that point, like, we could come do a spot like this with semolina on all 3. And even at such a low level, we probably eventually get lucky and hit a trophy. I didn't want to put semolina on all 3 just yet because we only have 24 of them. But now I can tell we are, we're not that far away from being able to craft semolina. So we're at 29.3 on bottom. It is going so fast now. These free happy hours are really helping. All right, oatmeal, and this milk does count. Are we going to fail this? Nope, 22.6. 23%, gotta love it. All right, it's 6 o'clock, so let's double check cafe just on the off chance, and then if there's no fish on our lines, we can just go ahead and go. Sounds like there might be a fish on our lines. Yeah, because we took worms off, we're less likely to see sleepers. Sleepers like the meaty baits. And right now we're using all bread dough bait type stuff. All right, so this is on bread. They're still so good right now. I actually don't want to leave. I know that we're missing float fishing, but oh, that's a roach. Also noticed that pearl barley, for what it's worth, has not caught a fish yet. All right, what else could we do right now? Go. What if we get a couple more pieces of bread? I'm just curious if bread would still give us any points. We might be so high now on bait harvesting level that it's not giving us points anymore, but let's just double check. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, we're going to be 25 in no time. We're still getting points on this. We might make a few potatoes, and then we also still need to make tons of pearl barley because of how good of a bait it is. This uses 5 portions, so let's just do like maybe 3 of these. Wheat and rack will probably use potatoes that much. That makes 31 pieces. I think we've got fish on, no surprise. We're just leveling up bait harvesting so quickly now. Now we can make sweet dough and wheat grains. Wow. So semolina is after these. Sweet dough is great. Wheat grains is good for the white eyes. So this is even affecting the challenges now. Hey, first fish on pearl barley. Nice gibble. Does anything here like oatmeal? I don't know if we'll stay long enough to see, but just in case. Semolina. Crucian. We got a crucian. First crucian. I'm going to make the rest of this pearl barley. 25.4. It's probably not going to give us a point every time, but who knows? It might. We're in that free happy hour right now, so. The wheat is a good bait for us to have, again, because of the wide eye possibility. Other than that, it's not that useful. It's not often that I use wheat on my main account. It is pretty expensive to craft, so we probably for now won't make a ton of it, but maybe a little bit. All right, so we're starting to get back into the normal sizes again. Did we make all the pearl barley? Yeah, okay. Looks like we're not gonna get anything on oatmeal. I just don't know. Let's see. If I look at locations, another nice fish. 30% bottom fishing as well. If I look at locations, mosquito by bait. Where is oatmeal? Is it on here at all? Wait, can I search? Yeah, oatmeal. Is it called oatmeal porridge? Yeah. 6 kinds of fish have been caught on it. Gibble, eyed, bleak, common roach, crucian, tench. So it will catch stuff. It's just, it's pretty far down the list. I don't think it gets used a lot. And there's probably a reason for that in terms of the bite rate and that kind of stuff. Okay, anything else we need or want to do at Mosquito before we go briefly, 26.8, before we go briefly do a little float fishing at Winding real quick. I guess let's sell our fish. Might as well sell them here just for fun. Technically, you can sell them anywhere, by the way. 38.8. Back over 100 silver. Very nice. Oh, we should get the sweet dough. So wheat flour, milk, sugar. We don't need a lot. We're not trying to level it right now, but just for fun. Wheat flour, milk, sugar, wheat flour. Let's just do like 3 of them. All right. So we're going to try this one spot just for a couple minutes. Seriously, we're not going to stay long. We're going to try caster at 25 depth. I think I fished here before on this series. I just saw somebody talking about it on BK, so I thought we would try it again. At least we made some good silver today. We spent a lot of silver, but because the fishing was so good, it didn't hurt quite as much to spend the silver that we did. We're going to the 87 bridge, which is this one. It's not really a bridge, a little dock thing. Very shallow, cast to the left. Let's see if we're getting anything on float. Of course, we could throw feeders in, catch stuff on feeders here as well, but we're not going to be here that long. Let's just see how active it seems on float for us. All right, little chub. Okay. All right, winding. Now, one of the fish that this person talks about catching here is gudgeon, which we could probably use one of the, bloodworm or redworm, since we don't have fly, and just kind of see how it's looking for gudgeon. See if we feel like we're getting one. They were using fly, by the way. So we're using both caster and maybe redworm just to kind of see how active it seems without fly. All right, let's do one more with caster. Now we did miss the early morning sort of hot fishing time, but still you want this to maybe be slightly more active on caster to justify it. And we could change depth and spots a little bit, but I'm surprised it goes that far without having a bite. All right, let's try red worm briefly. And cast a little farther out. We are on a very small hook here for red worm. Well, that seemed to work just like it was supposed to. Sometimes it just comes together, folks. So 22 hook, red worm. That was random at like 10:45 in the morning. Was not expecting to see a trophy at that time. .25 centimeter depth. Is that what we're at? .105 gram gudgeon. Trying to see if we were ever going to get a nibble past us. Everything has been upstream so far. Just doesn't look like it. Well, this path is a lot closer to us because we threw it at more of an angle to the left. People are catching dace here, or at least in around this spot, based on what chat's showing. Let's go a little bit deeper. So we'll go to 28 centimeter. And I guess we'll go back out a little further. Yeah, it's a gudgeon again. So we are on a little bit of a gudgeon farm. Oh, that went further, didn't it? So 2 gudgeon in a row. Seems like a gudgeon spot. If you had a cafe order or something for gudgeon, not that you're going to hit the trophy every time, but if you can reliably hit markers pretty well. And again, we're at a time of day where, especially float fishing like this, might slow down a little bit. And if you look across here, like I would try to put feeders out maybe like right here. Go into that little darker area right there, or it's a little deeper. Just try some different baits out, see what, if anything, is working. It's getting a nibble again. Oh, I messed it up. All right, we'll try it one more time. That was my fault. I think I went a little too quick there. All right. Gudgeon. Another nice gudgeon. What is going on? Wow. I actually don't remember. You know, Bleak and Dace are just very favorable in terms of Bleak for how easy they are to catch and still like really add up silver wise. Dace, especially if you get them in the 100-gram range, are just worth a lot of silver, like 10 plus silver per fish. I don't know how gudgeon fall into that, but we'll see shortly. All right. Let's go. Hopefully we're not like one gudgeon away from a cafe order or something silly like that. But other than that, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this one up, unless there's something strange in the cafe that just is killer. Oh, we could go try to catch a bleak real quick just for fun. But let's see what the cafe is saying and look at the cost of these gudgeon. All right, no gudgeon cafe order. No bleak cafe order, keeping us here. But 22 silver for that trophy gudgeon. And yeah, so you see the difference. Less than a silver for 32, but you get up to 66 gram, it's over 3.5 silver. So if you're catching larger size gudgeon, yeah, you do really well. I mean, that's 27 silver there very quickly. All right, what do we want to try? I don't remember if pearl barley is working right now for bleak. We're gonna go really shallow. I know Castor's been doing pretty well out here. Partially because we're also getting occasional dace on it. But let's see if bleak is working. Ooh, that's unusual for a bleak, nice fast bleak bite like that to mess up. Now with pearl barley, it is very shallow, so this won't happen a ton. But every once in a while you have a roach bite on there. Roach love pearl barley, along with bream. Ah, didn't mean to do that. All right, there's a bleak. They still like it. They'll like the bloodworm as well. I think Castor is the kind of fascinating one for them because again, I think are more likely to occasionally have that that dace built in. So you've got, you know, good silver from all the bleak and then also really good silver from an occasional 100-gram dace. There's a nice bleak, 82-gram bleak. This is what we did the other day and made a killing, especially if you've got cafe orders backing you up. It can be terrific. Then another good bait here to try. This is the absolute worst time of day to be fishing, but another good bait here to try is bloodworm. If you don't have flies. If we had flies, that would be probably the top tier, that and castor. But bloodworm, pearl barley, maggots. I mean, there's plenty of things you can have a nice bleak farm and occasionally get a dace on. Ooh. This might not be a bleak the way it's nibbling. It's probably a roach, but let's see. Oh, it's a nice dace. Not the big silver dace, but still a dace. Very cool. All right, so I noticed we're getting pretty low on casters. So before we sign out, let's just make sure and see if there's any in the store. Because especially for float fishing here, it's really nice to have casters as an option. It's taking too long. Oh, that is a bummer. Might be at Mosquito though. It's probably not worth buying 300 of them necessarily. Bark beetles out. Caddisfly. Mayfly is expensive. We do have maggots. We do have bloodworms. How many do I have of those? 53, just in case. Let's get a few more. These are kind of good backup options. Did I ever get grasshoppers? No, we ought to get one thing of grasshoppers. That chub challenge is coming. Also mayfly. I know I'm spending a lot of silver on baits, but it really is the secret to targeting things is the mayfly, is the being able to do that. I like that there's night crawlers and we don't have any. Again, expensive, but there are some night crawler specific challenges. So right now the bait kit, which is in stock, I've actually never seen the bait kit out of stock. It could get, but it allows you to get 30 casters, 30 bark beetle, which, you know, just isn't available right now. So we'll do that. All right, we spent a lot of silver on baits, but go ahead and unpack it. This allows us to do a lot of things coming up. Let's check Mosquito really quick. Those casters, if they're in stock, they're so cheap. The bark beetle larva, I think, is harder to get at these low-level places sometimes, but our poor guy is really hungry. Okay, they do have casters here. So get a couple of those. Do they not even sell? Oh, there it is. Yeah, they don't have bark beetle larva though. I do like that they have caddisfly here. It's kind of cool. No night crawlers here, but they do have red worms. Keep digging for red worms, hopefully. We'll eat some canned pork to get our food level back up. Okay, as always, thanks for watching Tight Lines. I will see you next episode. Best of luck to you. Happy New Year's, everybody.